Thanks, Renee. Well, we are not going to see any rain in the near future. The skies are very blue as I sit out here in the Rose Garden. But it is very windy as we are under a wind advisory for the next few days. We can also see those temperatures drop over the weekend. We may even dip into the 30s on Sunday. But don't worry, your spring weather will be back by next week. Some rain, though, may come with it. I'll tell you more coming up later. Jeb and his campaign have been traveling all over South Carolina, hitting all the major cities and hosting rallies like this one to get local support. After today, you can put away the umbrellas and rain boots because tomorrow brings sun and clear skies. Coming up next, I'll have your 5-day forecast. 10 states today will be participating in both the Republican and Democratic primaries. Alaska will only be participating in the Republican primary and Colorado only in the Democratic primary. Now let's take a look at the delegate votes across the Republican states. We can see Texas here with 155 votes is trumping all, no pun intended. And this will take up about a quarter of those delegate votes. Now 11 of the Democratic states have double of those delegate votes. Texas, though, will still take about a quarter of them, making Texas a huge win. Just another day at the office, except for Cassie Cope, looks can be deceiving. Cope is a political reporter for the state newspaper and calls the small, dingy press room that she shares with 7 other reporters at the State House home. Cope closely covers the state budget and focuses mainly on education, roads, and public safety.
So it's finding out the facts first, and then from there, it's asking, going in depth. So why are you sending the money to counties versus the State Department of Transportation, and digging deep into the weeds and then trying to zoom back out for readers and help them understand.
Journalists like Cassie turn stories about once a day covering things going through the legislature. She and other journalists work closely with senators and House of Representatives to get this done. Richland Representative James Smith believes working with journalists to get his and other assembly members' messages out there is essential in connecting with their constituents.
Without active journalists who care about what's going on, who are engaged, then the public doesn't necessarily get the full picture about what we're doing. I mean, they hold and keep us accountable to the trust that is placed in us by the people of our state.
Representative Smith homes in on the importance of trust within the relationship.
I can communicate to them on a certain level and provide them with information that helps them do their job and helps get information to the public and know when we're on the record and when we're not on the record.
Back at the state newspaper's Columbia headquarters, Jamie Self types away at a new angle covering the roads bill that is currently being discussed in the House. She says it's important to maintain good relationships with sources inside the Assembly.
So it's a lot of just touching base with sources, keeping track of the calendar and all of the committee meetings, and just reading through a lot of legislation to also see if there's anything that jumps out of you that might be important to readers.
Cope, Self, and other reporters covering the legislature focus on providing readers with easily understandable facts and information while closing the gap between elected officials and their constituents, and creating a greater transparency in government. Gabrielle Aarons, Carolina News. Every Tuesday night, a select few people join together at the Eastminster Presbyterian Church to celebrate Scottish heritage. How, you may ask? By dancing.
Are you all ready to warm up? Go.
The class is taught by Bill McCullough, who has been teaching Scottish country dance for over 23 years, and his reason may surprise you.
I do it, as I told you, is to keep my mind fresh and to keep in good shape. Other people do it just for the social activities. They just like being with other people.
Young and old flock to the church for their own reasons. No previous dance experience needed. Baby Edie even rolls around to the music from time to time. While many come to socialize and get a workout, there's a lot of history behind the dances. After World War I, Royal Scottish Dance Societies were created in order to revive Scottish country dance all over the world. Classes are taught every day, just like this one. Colleen Walker and her husband have been attending the dance classes for about 20 years now.
My husband and I were new to Columbia. We had just moved here, and He saw it in the paper, showed it to me, and I said, that looks like fun, so let's try it.
As the dances got more vigorous, the breathing became heavier, and so did the laughter. Every Tuesday night, Scottish descent or not, everyone is welcome to come learn the Scottish ways. Gabrielle Ahrens, Carolina News.
Good afternoon. Turn off your phones and put them away, please.
This is how Jay Bender opens every class, bow tie clad and all. Jay has been teaching this law and ethics class of mass communications for over 30 years. He has also built a national reputation as a lawyer for newspaper and broadcast. When Jay received the South Carolina Press Association Lifetime Achievement Award at the annual meeting last week, he was in utter shock.
I had no inkling it was coming. It was a total surprise. I told Bill Rogers when I got it that I was speechless, and his response was that was the first time ever.
Bender is retiring from teaching at the end of this semester and will retire from his legal practice at the end of the year.
I couldn't have thought of a better way to spend a lifetime than representing newspapers.
One of Jay's many claims to fame is the First Amendment. He helps media outlets all over the state defending them in court. WLTX General Manager Rich Odell says Bender's work will be missed around the station.
We rely on Jay. We rely on his knowledge, we rely on his wit, and we rely on his counsel.
Odell says Bender is the preeminent First Amendment attorney in South Carolina.
He's one of those guys who not only knows the law, but he helped form the law. He helped shape the law.
Bender has educated generations of journalism and law students with his no-nonsense style of teaching.
It was kind of remarkable that 20 of you were absent on the day I gave the pop quiz.
Graduating senior Christina Zagami says she will never forget what she learned in his media law class.
I feel like taking his class is a rite of passage. You don't truly earn your journalism degree until you've taken Jay Bender's class.
The last class Jay will ever teach will be on April 21st, and he doesn't plan on changing a thing.
I'm going to give out mugs, I'm going to wear hats, and tell people what media law is about. Same stuff I've done for 40 years.
Looking ahead, Bender plans on remodeling an adobe house in New Mexico and traveling the world. But he will never forget his time here at USC, and his students definitely won't forget him either.
Yeah, where's Normandy?
Gabrielle Ahrens, Carolina News.
Do you know where D-Day took place? Normandy.
A bar normally filled with drunk college kids invites a different kind of guest, a four-legged guest. Yappy Hour is a one-of-a-kind event that Jake's puts on twice a week. It's a place where dog owners can let their furry friends run free. Jamie Canavan and her dog Moose come almost every week.
It's really wonderful for him to be able to come out of class. When I come out of classes, I've been able to walk him for a couple hours or something like that, and he gets to run around, and I take him home, and he's tired by the end of the day.
Jamie says it's an entire community.
I mean, we walk in, and, I know almost every name of every dog around here, and I see everybody with all their new dogs. I'm like, you're new? Who are you?
But for dog owner Derek Boucher, it's more than just social hour. His dog, Tipsy, was given up during the historic fall flood, and she lost all motor skills.
The Yappy Hour is great for her because it gets her around more dogs and helps her move around a lot, because when she first started coming here, she couldn't even walk up the stairs.
Well, I'm here with Bonita, which means beautiful in Spanish, and so is this place. If you haven't been to Jake's for Yappy Hour, you should, because it's a wild experience.
Sit, Holly. Good girl.
Yappy Hour manager Jung Pak can always be found amongst the dogs. Some people even refer to him as the dog whisperer.
Come on, boy.
When asked for an interview, he politely declined and said, "Yappy Hour is not about me, it's about the dogs." And regular Yappy Hour attendees trust Jung with their dogs' lives.
Jung's one of the greatest guys. He'll control your dog for you, and you can just relax.
From beer to dog tricks, you'll see it all at Yappy Hour, a place where dog lovers can rejoice. Yappy Hour regulars have one thing to say.
Bring your dog, and if you don't have a dog, come anyways, if you love dogs.
You're sure to have a dog wagon good time. Gabrielle Ahrens, Carolina News. The victim is identified as 22-year-old Levy Michael Happy of Prosperity. We know he is not a student at USC, and it is unclear if he was at the St. Patty's Festival earlier in the day. The 34th annual festival colored the streets of 5 Points in green, and police could be seen out in full force. After the crowds had dispersed, early Sunday morning is when police were dispatched to the area, along with EMS, when Happy was found unresponsive. EMS personnel pronounced him dead at the scene. CPD spokeswoman Jennifer Timmons says they are working to determine if the case is a murder, an accident, or a suicide. This raises the question about safety in 5 Points once again after an 18-year-old University of South Carolina student was shot just 2 years ago. Local businesses like Ultra Tan are very concerned.
Normally, I don't see that much police presence, working here every day in 5 Points. I think that having more would be better. It would prevent a lot of this stuff happening.
That feeling is mirrored on campus as well.
I know there's a police presence, but you don't honestly really physically see it. And so you're just kind of scared, always looking over my shoulder, don't want to be there by myself. But yeah, it was definitely a scary end to St. Pat's.
5 Points remains on edge once again as they wait for answers. A night of cold weather brings a crowd inside to gather and wait for the arrival of former Governor Jeb Bush. After an hour of waiting, a warm welcome is due for the former governor as he enters the building. Here, at this stop, Bush takes the stage with an intention to focus on issues dealing with the military.
Yes, I will be a commander-in-chief that respects the military. Yes, we will eliminate the sequester and rebuild our military so it is the strongest by far in the world.
Selfie after selfie, Bush makes a point to connect with the crowd and invites them to become involved.
If you want someone whose compass points north, who has integrity, who has the courage, who has the humility to be a leader, to solve problems, I need your support, and I'd love to have it. Thank you all very much. God bless you.
And his message resonates with the people here. Former Governor Bush's campaign expected his polls to increase from New Hampshire to Iowa, and they were right. Now they need that to happen in South Carolina. Linda Willard, a Bush campaign advisor, says he must tweak his campaign to meet the interests of the voters in the South.
You can't just focus on one group. Certainly in South Carolina, the military and the veterans are going to be an important voting bloc. I think it's a large percentage, and he's so strong in that area. I think he has a stronger record of both endorsements and understanding in that area.
Bush also has a large impact on the millennials. Brianna Wood is one of many USC student volunteers for Bush's campaign. She believes he sticks out from the pack in an important way.
And I think some of the other candidates also on stage can kind of give you the little soundbite stuff that kind of people want to hear, and that may not be the best thing to say, but it's what everyone wants to hear and to get everyone talking. And Jeb isn't that candidate. He's the one that actually has a plan.
Going into the South Carolina primary, polls show Donald Trump with a comfortable lead in the state, but the former Governor Bush's biggest challenge is to just survive. Gabrielle Aarons, Carolina News.
On Carolina News.
Hello and welcome to Carolina News. I'm Khadijah Dennis.
Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us. I'm Gabrielle Aarons. A foreign refugee bill has been proposed to the South Carolina Senate that targets foreign refugees coming to the state and organizations that aid these refugees. Reporter Tim Callowell has the latest in the newsroom. More than 24 people are hospitalized after an Amtrak train derailed in southwest Kansas early this morning. Authorities say 29 people were taken to the hospital, but none have life-threatening injuries. The train was traveling from Los Angeles to Chicago when 7 passenger cars derailed shortly after midnight. The cause of the mishap remains unclear at this point. Columbia police need your help today finding a man who they say robbed a Waffle House off of Greystone Boulevard this morning. Police say a man entered the Waffle House on Stone Ridge Drive this morning around 4 a.m., armed with a gun and demanding money. While no one was injured in the robbery, police are still looking for the suspect without a description. $1,000 reward is available to anyone whose tips lead to an arrest in this case. If you have any information, Columbia Police ask that you call 1-888-CRIME-SC. Forest Acres Police Department also released surveillance photos from a bank robbery last week. Police are searching for a man that walked into Wells Fargo Bank on Forest Drive with a handgun and demanded money. He is described as black, around 6 feet, between 35 and 45 years old, and weighing 230 pounds. If you have any information about the robbery, contact Crime Stoppers at 1-888-CRIME-SC. We really understand the flooding situation here in Columbia.
It's sad to see that there's another situation happening this year.
Luckily for us, It's warm out today.
Yes,
the sun
it
is.
is.
Shining.
Yes,
85,
spring is
right?
finally arrived, and we'll take a closer look at that.
So we're really lucky to be here in Columbia because some places like Michigan, Omaha are getting a lot of snow and hail right now, and I'm standing out here feeling that sun warmth on my face. But first, let's take a look at Columbia. We can expect temperatures and partly cloudy skies, but the sun has come out a few times throughout the day, making it a beautiful day. Temperature 79 degrees, humidity 34%, and winds out of the south at 17 miles an hour. Now let's take a look at the current temps across the state. We can see across the board around 77, so mid-70s, a little cooler up in the upper state, 73 in Greenville, and the warmest spot is here in Columbia with 79 degrees. A little bit cooler on campus though with 78 degrees. Now let's take a look at the current national map. So this is that storm I was talking about over the Great Lakes. It's bringing a lot of snow and hail, but it will move east to New England, unfortunately giving them a snowy Easter. We also have a storm system brewing in front of this front that will be pushing over to us overnight. So now let's take a look at the storm itself. It is ranging from Texas across Louisiana. Poor Louisiana got a lot of rain last week and flooded, so they don't need that. But by tomorrow, we'll see that front will have moved across the coast and out of our way. We do have a fast-moving front here, and this is what will bring that rain on Easter that I talked about earlier, and also some cooler temperatures. Now let's look at tonight's forecast. So we can expect mid 60s, lower 60s, a little bit cooler in the upstate, 61 Greenville, 64 in Columbia. So a really mild night. You might need some jacket, but that's it. Now let's take a look at tomorrow's highs. We can see that 77 across the state one more time. Really nice along the coast. A little bit warmer at 78, 80 in Columbia, but let's take a look at that 5-day forecast that I promised you. So this is that rain, that front that's over Louisiana right now that'll come by 2 a.m. and be gone by noon, so it should warm up. And Saturday we'll see some clouds, and Sunday unfortunately we'll have some rain, but by Monday afternoon clear up, and Tuesday we will see that sun again that I promised you guys. So back to you in the studio.